Hey, welcome back to Business 101, Introduction to Business, and now in Lecture 3 in our look at Chapter 10, the topic of marketing. And in this lecture, we look at the marketing environment, or more specifically, the external environment of marketing. As you can see here in this first slide, the textbook, this figure 11-1 from the text, attempts to describe the fact that similarly to what we looked at in chapter 1 of the text, all the way back to our very first set of lectures, when we described the business as having an existence within an external environment, so it is true that when we engage in the process and methods of marketing, we have to be cognizant and aware of the fact that every one of our marketing efforts, our plans, our strategies, even our marketing decisions, they don't happen in a vacuum. They happen in a contextual environment, the external environment that the business lives in. And as you can see here, there are various aspects of that environment that we need to consider. We see them listed here on this slide. The political legal environment, the socio-cultural environment, the technological environment, the economic environment, and the competitive environment in which we engage. A little on each of these then. The political legal environment includes the relationship between business and government, usually in the form of government regulation. And indeed, in the changing landscape of regulations and the regulatory environment, we have to be aware that these kinds of things affect what we are able to say in our messaging, what we are not allowed to say, what adjustments do we need to make, and therefore what is the best way that the political realm allows us in order to continue the messaging that we are going to convey to our buyers and our prospective customers. Next, when we look at the topic of the socio-cultural environment, which the textbook will describe as the customs, mores, values, and demographic characteristics of the society in which an organization functions, what will each of those important aspects of the society and culture in which we live, what impact will they have about how we do marketing, how we send messages to our prospective customers, and what do their values and convictions and preferences in today's world mean for what are acceptable messaging in our marketing campaigns? On this side, the technological environment, all the ways by which firms create value for their constituents, technologically speaking, and of course, as we know, new innovation in technology directly impacts the channels and the methods that we can use to reach prospective clients, the ways that we can send messages to our buying public, as well as the ways and means of what they're interested in, and therefore how our products and services might integrate with the types of technological tools and methods that they prefer to use. Finally, the economic environment, the relevant conditions that exist in the economic system in which a company operates. Well, as we think about the changing economic landscape, how does that impact our potential buyers? Are they more interested in spending disposable discretionary income? Or are they more interested in saving because of an economic downturn? These are the kinds of preferences that we need to accommodate in our messaging. We need to consider these things as we think about how does marketing work today and tomorrow. And finally, when we look at the fifth aspect of the external environment of marketing, we have to consider the competitive environment in which we are trying to do business. In other words, when we think of the purchasing decision that our prospective buyers have before them when they're thinking about our product or service, well, what other products or services might they be also thinking of? What are they thinking of in terms of substitutes that might fulfill the same customer need, and do we have to address those things in our marketing messaging? What about brand competition, which the textbook defines as competitive marketing that appeals to consumer perceptions of benefits of products offered by particular companies? In other words, are we competing against other successful, popular brands in the marketplace? You see, especially in some automobile advertising these days, that some companies will outright name their number one competitor and try to message how their product is better and more desirable than their competitor's named product. That's rather an extreme and direct way of working through the aspects, the challenges of brand competition. And finally, increasingly in a global world, we have to consider international competition, competitive marketing of domestic products against foreign products. We've seen this in the United States for some time now. And of course, in every marketplace around the world, increasing levels of globalism bring domestic and foreign products together, competing in the same competitive market. All of these things we need to consider when we think about the external environment of marketing for us here and around the world. Hope this makes sense. We'll see you in the next lecture.